Hey guys, welcome to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and today we are going to be talking about episode 8. So, I absolutely love this film. I absolutely did. But there is no way that I would ever say that this was the best film ever. It has some problems, and I had some issues with it. And now, I'm not saying with this video that I can make a better movie than Rian Johnson. No way can I make a better movie than Rian Johnson. That guy did a fantastic, excellent job with this movie. But if I had a chance to change some of the things in Star Wars, in this Star Wars Episode 8, then I definitely will, and this is how I would actually do it. That's all I want to say with this video. So without further ado, this is what I would change. Let me know down in the comments below what you would change, but I'm not trying to say that I'm better than Rian Johnson or anything like that. This is just what I would change. It's my opinion. That's all I'm saying. So, I know a lot of people don't like the humor in this movie. But there was only one joke in the entire movie that didn't sell with me, and that's that stupid shirtless joke with Kylo Ren. Ignoring that, the humor in this movie isn't actually that bad. In fact, to me it feels like Star Wars. To me it feels like a more updated version of the Star Wars humor that we had before, and I only think that's the case because, well, this is supposed to be a new age of Star Wars. So, I'm fine with the humor in it. So I would start the entire movie just like they did in the movie. So, it would be Poe Dameron calling Hux, putting him on hold, finding that ship, and you know what? I would keep this moment, especially because, what comes to the Poe Dameron character, his character growth is all about this moment, because it's this moment where he loses a lot of people, loses a lot of ships, and, he needs to overcome that, and that's how his character growth is in this movie. So I would keep all that. I would have him be demoted, and all of that other stuff that happened to Poe Dameron, pretty much I would keep. I would keep the exact same thing with Kylo Ren. I would keep the exact same thing with Snoke. I would keep the exact same thing with Leia, even. Believe it or not, this moment where Leia actually flies in the movie, I got to be honest with you, on paper, it sounds completely stupid. In the movie theater, that was one of the coolest moments in the movie. All I would have them do is explain a little bit more. Like, somebody asked Leia how she was able to do that, and she says something like, oh, I had some training from Luke when I was working with Luke before her son was born, or something like that. I just want somewhat of an explanation of how she was able to do that. I understand that she's Vader's daughter, but she had to have some training, and I think this is a great way to put it into the Star Wars lore that she actually had some training, because in Legends continuity, she actually did have some Jedi training. So I just want her to have Jedi training in the canon version too, and I think this would be a great way to do it, is to say she had some training from Luke way back when, and that's how she was able to basically save herself in this movie. I would keep it though, I definitely would. I would just explain it. Now, the only thing that I really would change is, you see, after she's knocked out, the role goes to her friend, and I can't remember her friend's name. It's Kay something or something like that. I can't remember what her friend's name. Here's a picture of her. This is the person I'm talking about. You see, she has a very large role in this movie, and a very stupid one, in my opinion. She doesn't tell Poe Dameron the plan. And you could make the excuse, but here's the problem with it. It's us on the outside making the excuse, not in the movie, but you can make the excuse that she doesn't want to tell anybody the plan because she doesn't want the spy to hear it. She might think that there's a spy on board, and that's how the First Order was able to track him. Of course, we know that that isn't what happens. What actually happened was the First Order had technology that could track him, and it had nothing to do with the spy. But Other than that, that's an excuse from the outside. From the movie itself, there is absolutely no point for her not to tell Poe Dameron. So I would, in my opinion, tell Poe Dameron the plan. And she would, of course, reluctantly do it, but she would eventually do it. And Poe Dameron, understanding that he messed up in this movie, would eventually go, you know what, we need a distraction. So he puts together a team. We got Poe, we got Finn, and we got Rose going against the First Order to distract the First Order from the ship. And the reason why I would do that is because, well, it's completely pointless not to tell Poe Dameron the plans, and it's completely stupid that Poe Dameron eventually ends up committing betrayal and actually taking over the ship, committing mutiny, and trying to take over the ship. It's completely stupid that that happens, in my opinion, and it could have all been avoided if somebody would tell him the dang plan. So, I would tell him the plan. He comes up with the idea that we need a distraction so the First Order doesn't realize their plan, and that's when Poe Dameron, and Rose, Finn and Rose end up helping with the plan. Now, I would keep the same thing with Finn. I would keep Finn wanting to run from the First Order, wanting to get to Rey, wanting to have nothing to do with the First Order or the Resistance, and want to be a free man. You know, he wants to find Rey and go have kids with her. He wants to fall in love with her. That is Poe. That is Finn right now, and I want between Poe and definitely Rose to snap him out of that and definitely become a rebel. And at the end of the movie, his whole story arc of wanting to be a runner to becoming a fighter is, of course, goes out through episode 7, of course, but ends in episode 8, in my opinion, and I like that arc for him. So I think it's important that we keep that for Finn. And, of course, Rose eventually convinces him to stay. Now, I would have Poe, Rose, and Finn team up, go sneak onto the big ship, completely forget about that Maz Kanata thing and the whole gambling planet for just a second. This is what I would do. They sneak onto the ship. They cause a lot of trouble. The ship is getting destroyed and blah blah blah. They take out that little tracker thing they have on the ship. And, you know, we're skipping all the way to the end now, when, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Well, you see, at the very end of the movie, she actually takes the ship, goes in the hyperdrive, and slams it into Snoke's ship. And that was an awesome moment. I would leave it in there, but this is what I would do different. After that, Finn, Poe, and Rose, and believe it or not, Captain Phasma would, in all of the wreckage from that ship, of Snoke's ship, would fall down to another planet, and that would be that gambling planet. Okay, so now we go to the gambling planet. That's right. We keep the gambling planet in there. Now we have, of course, Poe Dameron in the game. We have Rose and Finn. I would like them to build up more of a romantic feel between Rose and, of course, Finn. But eventually, the biggest important thing is we have Phasma and about, 10, 15 stormtroopers maybe. About 10 would be good. 10 stormtroopers and Captain Phasma on the planet as well, going after Finn, Rose, Poe Dameron, all of them going after, and then eventually, of course, they would run into Benicio del Toro's character, I can't remember his name either, and eventually, he would betray him and everything, and they would end up on planet Crate. That's how I would do the movie. That's how much I would change. We would still go to that stupid gambling planet. We would still have the aliens, because I really do like the aliens. We would still have that little boy, except now we have more of an adventure, more of a chase, and more of a feel of dread staying here with us throughout at least half of this movie, because we're on this planet, and yet we're actually feeling all of this dread while trying to run and escape from the First Order, trying to get to Crate, which is just another planet away. In fact, make Crate like a neighbor planet. You know what I mean? They don't have to be in totally different star systems to me. So that's just what I would do. And then, of course, we have, well, it all comes down to Luke Skywalker, right? It all comes down to Luke. I love Luke's character in this movie. When it comes to Luke's character, it's exactly what I wanted. When it comes to Snoke's character, it's exactly what I wanted. When it comes to Rey's character, it's exactly what I wanted. When it comes to Kylo Ren's character, it's exactly what I wanted. So I would keep basically the entire film, except I would move that whole ship going into hyperspace and running into Snoke's ship. I would put that a lot earlier in the film, and I would put Finn, Rose, and Poe Dameron running away from Phasma on planet on that gambling planet throughout the entire movie. That's what I would do. So then it feels like because right now the way the movie is, it feels like, oh, this is really cool. We got Finn and Kylo Ren. I mean, Rose. We got Rey and Kylo Ren talking to each other, and now we have Finn and Rose playing with alien monsters. What are they, horses? Alien horses? Oh, look at that. We actually have Luke Skywalker training Rey. Oh, look, we have something about Finn and Rose parking on a bad spot. What? It's stupid. Now, if we had Rey and Luke training, and then we switch over to Poe and Rose and Finn running away from Phasma, I think the movie could move on more coherently. We don't have that really weird, really mood swing change to the entire movie that we get throughout this entire film, which I personally think is an issue with it. Now, one of the biggest things that I would change is I would have a more epic moment for Luke Skywalker. This is what I would do. This is what I would do. Hang on, I'm gonna absolutely go fan crazy with this. Okay? Okay, so I know there's this like really cool droid moment where BB-8 becomes a hero, but what about R2? R2 is supposed to be the big hero of every movie. Everybody knows that, and he's not in Episode 7. He's definitely not a big hero in Episode 8. So what I would do is I would actually do R2-D2 in Luke Skywalker's TIE Fighter with the after image effect of Luke Skywalker. Fly out, destroy one or two of the AT-ATs. Not all of them, just not even destroy them, just like bump into them and cause some trouble. Then, of course, he would walk over to Leia, give her the dice. Then he would walk over to Kylo Ren. They would have their epic fight. I would love it if he went boom like that, use the Force, and maybe make those AT-ATs kind of like wiggle or like fall down, not destroy them. They don't have to be destroyed. They could just, after they all blast at Luke, he could go like this, and they could just use the Force and glide them away. That would be an epic moment. I would just want a more epic moment for Luke Skywalker. That's all I'm asking. That's all I want. A more epic moment for Luke Skywalker. And I think it is really, really cool that he was able to project himself billions of light years away from Planet Crate. I think that was absolutely awesome in my opinion. And here's the biggest thing. When he goes to kill, he doesn't really go to do it, but he almost goes to kill Kylo Ren, right? And he has actually his dad's, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, the blue blade. And he's fighting Kylo Ren. Well, I would love it if Leia actually ran out there and started trying to swing his green lightsaber. Like, what the heck? Why would she have Luke's green lightsaber? I think that would be absolutely awesome if Leia actually had Luke's green lightsaber for some reason. And I wouldn't say Leia would be good at it. I wouldn't say she would be as gifted as Kylo Ren or Luke Skywalker, obviously, because they've had trained. But I would say she would try to swing it at Kylo Ren, because if you remember, Leia actually says that I absolutely understand Kylo Ren cannot be saved. But I think it would have been better, and really a good way to stamp that motion, if she took the lightsaber and tried to cut down Kylo Ren. Only for Kylo Ren to not only slice through Luke Skywalker's head, realize he's a projection, it's not gonna hurt, but then slice off Leia's arm. Because everybody needs to lose an arm in Star Wars. Let's let Leia lose an arm. If we have to keep her alive, okay, but have her lose an arm in that fight. Have her lose the arm as well as the green lightsaber, where Kylo Ren actually takes Luke's green lightsaber. But to be honest with you, I would go as far as even killing off Leia right then and there. And then, of course, we have Rey saving what's left of the Rebel Alliance on the greatest ship in the galaxy. That's how we end the movie. We would have Luke Skywalker survive. I would be alright if he died in episode 9. And you know what? I'm even alright that he died in this movie. I'm over it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that he died, but I'm over it. But in my verse, I would have Luke Skywalker survive. I would have Leia, unfortunately, I love Carrie Fisher, I love Leia, but she is gone. And to end her character, it would be great if her character died in this movie as well. And then we just have Kylo Ren as the big bad guy of the movie of episode 9. That's how I would do it. That's what I would change. And of course that gives Phasma a more important role because she goes after Finn a lot more throughout this movie. That just fixes all of my problems I had with this movie. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, then go see my review. I'll leave a link to it in the description below where you can see my review for this movie, because my 3 biggest issues was that Luke died, Leia didn't die, and there was no really romance between Finn and Rose, and that kiss at the end, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like there was any feeling behind it, so I absolutely hated it. So that's what I would do. I would have him build up the romance while at the same time running away from Phasma throughout the entire movie, so Phasma isn't just shoehorned in there like Maz Kanata was. Thank you guys for watching. That's the way I would fix Star Wars. However, Rian Johnson did an amazing job on this film. I loved Episode 8. Not the best Star Wars film, but I loved Episode 8. Thank you guys for watching. Out. Bye.